everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm just going to be filling my sketchbook pages with a couple doodles. So if you want to draw along with me, I'm just going to be going over some Q&A questions that I asked over on Instagram. I haven't done a Q&A in a while, so I thought this would be a fun video to kind of kick off the year with. So if you have some art you want to do, or you just want to put me on in the background, feel free. I won't be putting too many things on the screen, so feel free to just put me on in the background. I'll just be drawing, and if you want to get some art done along with me, I would love to join you. So let's get started. So I'm just going to run through some very basic info just in case anyone is new here. So my name is Georgina Cahill, but everyone calls me Gigi or Georgie. I live in Chicago right now, but I grew up in Connecticut and also lived in Hong Kong, New York, LA, and have moved all over the world and moved over 20 times, so I don't really know where to say I'm from, but right now I am living in Chicago. I currently work as an animator and illustrator. My full-time job is a motion graphics artist. I do commercials, I do educational videos, I do a little bit of everything, which is a very fun job. And so my full-time job, I usually am animating characters, or I'm doing storyboards, or I'm writing scripts. So I have a very varied job. And if that interests you, I'd love to talk about it more. So feel free to leave some questions about motion graphics or animation or commercials or anything in the comments if you want to know more about that. And that's a little bit about me, so let's jump into some questions. So the first question I got was how to get better at anatomy for consistent characters and animation. So this is a really great question, and the answer might seem a little backwards because I'm not going to tell you to practice characters. What I am going to tell you to practice is gesture drawing. Regularly studying human anatomy from either life drawings or references is going to really help you when you're designing characters or drawing characters for animation. Studying hands, body parts, your hair, faces. Studying things from life is going to help you break down these shapes easier and make it easier for you to consistently draw them and stylize them for your characters later. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't already, to go to a figure drawing class or go online. There's lots of online resources. So definitely study figure drawings, the human body, animals, everything from life. That's going to be what keeps your characters consistent when you're actually animating them. 2. What made you want to be an artist or animator? So that's probably going to be my mom. She is an artist, and she was my first art teacher. She was a fashion designer and now does lots of drawing and sculpture and everything. So she always encouraged me to be creative. She always took me to art classes and encouraged me to tell stories. And I think that's what I love most about animation. I love that you can tell any story you want. The only limitation is your own imagination. And growing up, animated films and shows just felt magical. You take something still and you're able to make it move. I feel like that's pretty much as close to magic as you can get. And I really wanted to use it as a way to create worlds and tell stories and tell the world about my characters that I wanted to tell. So hopefully some animators out there might relate to that. I just think it's a great medium, and I think it's my favorite way to tell stories. Next question. Do you like gouache? Any that you recommend? Yes, I do like gouache. I'm more of a digital artist just because of the nature of my job, but when I do want to do some personal work, I do really love gouache for painting. It's fantastic. It has really vibrant colors and versatility. I like that I can use it more as a watercolor or a little bit more acrylic if I want something a little bit darker on the page. Some brands I like are Holbein and Winsor & Newton for professional grade gouache. And if you're looking for something a little bit more budget-friendly, Arteza makes a really great gouache set that I would recommend too. No one sponsored this, obviously. No one watches my YouTube channel. So yeah, but if you like gouache, I would highly recommend checking out those brands. What compelled you to create content for more beginner animators and artists? For me, it was the lack of guidance I had growing up in this career. My parents are luckily super supportive of my career and wanted to help me any way they could, but they are not animators and I have no connection to the animation industry, so the questions I had pretty much no one could answer. And I wanted to provide people who are growing up and wanting to get into this field with the resources and support that I wish I had had. I think it just would have made my life a lot easier, my journey as an animator, and I hope that I can make it easier for a couple people out there. Do you have any tips for self-taught artists? So probably my biggest one is just to start with basics. I know it's a little bit boring, but really having a strong foundation of anatomy perspective and color theory are what's going to make it easier for you to stylize your work and understand how to create great pieces later. And not that you can't create great pieces now, but understanding basic art tools is really going to help you create something fantastic. And so if you haven't started with the basics yet, I really recommend going on YouTube and looking at community forums just to get a understanding of how to do gesture drawing, how to create a color wheel. So I just really recommend looking up some really basic art skills that you can build off of later. And if you are new to art, I would really recommend focusing on consistency over speed. Doing a little bit over time, like a little 5-minute drawing every day, is going to mean more than doing 50 million drawings in an hour. Sometimes it's more quality over quantity when it comes to drawing, especially when you are just starting out. You don't want to burn out too quickly, so I really recommend just taking your time, but making sure that you do a little bit either every day or every other day, just whatever works for your schedule. Just make sure it's consistent. Okay, this person says, am I too old to start learning to draw and animate? I'm 24. Absolutely not. There's many successful artists that start in their late 20s or beyond that. There's a famous painter named Grandma Moses who started really painting when she was 78 and gained a lot of fame later in life. Not that you had to be famous, but there is no age limit to being an artist or embracing your creativity. There's so many successful artists that started a little bit later in life. And first of all, you are not later in life. You're 24. You're just starting out. And plus, because maybe you're a little bit older, animation is about storytelling, and your life experiences that you have now are going to enrich your work. That might be an advantage for you. So I highly recommend you start drawing and animating if that's what makes you happy. What are the pros and cons of a public Instagram art account? So there's lots of pros, there's lots of cons. Some highlights for the pros, though, are the networking that you get. You get to build a portfolio and gain feedback from people online. The networking especially is probably a big pro, and it doesn't just have to be for work. I've met an amazing community of artists online that I never would have been able to meet otherwise. I know artists from all over the world, and we share our work with each other, and we encourage each other. And it's been so nice to have a community of other artists who are going through the same things as me and might be different ages and can help me out with different things that I'm going through in my life. So just for the community alone, I would recommend starting an Instagram art account. But of course, there's going to be a downside with any social media. There's going to be pressure to post consistently and deal with the algorithm that no one understands, okay? I don't care what any influencer tells you, no one understands the algorithm. Like, you just gotta post and hope for the best sometimes. But it's important to remember that balance is key. You want to focus on creating, not just performing for an audience. If you post things that you love, your true audience will find you. Next question. How do you improve as an artist? So one thing that helped me was to set clear goals. It can be overwhelming to try and learn everything about being an artist. Like, even just drawing, like, there's just so much you need to know about color and perspective and what paper to use and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's important to focus on sometimes just one thing. So, like, last year, I really wanted to focus on backgrounds, and I broke that down into a bunch of different goals. Like, I focused on just perspective for a week. Then I focused on just trees for a week. And then I just focused on, a little bit of how I could improve my backgrounds. Like every week or every other week, depending on how big the goal was. And from that, I really saw a lot of improvement in my backgrounds. So I'd really recommend starting with the big goal that you have and then breaking it down into little goals. I know this kind of sounds like school, but it does really help to set clear goals for yourself and practice consistently with it. How do you find real ideas? So when I'm thinking of making a video for either Instagram or TikTok or whatever, I tend to do a lot of scrolling. I actually don't use social media as a consumer so much anymore. I really use it just as research. I don't really go on Instagram or TikTok except to just scroll and look for trends. I literally just go through and notice what audios I'm hearing again, what type of visuals I'm seeing again. You really have to look at it as a job if you are interested in growing your Instagram or your following anywhere. You can't get too caught up in watching videos and enjoying it. of course you can enjoy it, but like if you really want to grow your Instagram, you have to look at it more from a business standpoint rather than a consumer standpoint. So you want to see like what's trending, what types of videos people are liking, what types of commentary people are liking, and really look what interests you as an artist or a creative, and try and find your place in that niche. I hope that made any sense. Also, I keep just a running list of any ideas I have on my phone. I just in the Notes app. I just write down any audios that I've noticed, any trends that I'm seeing, any just creative videos that I want to make. I just keep a running list of that so I don't forget it for later. So I guess I'll end it on this question. What is your favorite thing to draw? So my favorite thing to draw is probably pretty girls in 3/4 pose. I'm not going to lie. It's easy. I know how to do it well. I can do it quickly. And I think it's just comforting from that standpoint. And of course, it's really important to be a versatile artist and have a range of things you're able to do. But if I'm feeling really stuck or anything, just drawing some cute girls and cute outfits really helps me get unstuck. So if you are ever feeling like you have art block, just going back to things that you know you can draw well can sometimes get you out of that funk that you have. And get you back to drawing things that might be a little bit harder or newer to you. So never be afraid to go back to your comfort characters or your comfort drawing topics, because I use that all the time as a crutch if I ever just need something to draw and I don't have no idea what to do. So I hope that helps at all. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have a great day and that you create some art with me. And if you have any other questions, please leave them down in the comments. I would love to answer them. And I hope you all have a great day. Okay, keep creating. Bye.